All right, we're here today with Patrick O'Keefe. He's with iFroggy Network. This is Paul Terry Walhus with Austin Cast and AustinLifestyles.com. Patrick, you're a panelist today. Tell us what you're going to talk about and where you're from and how did you come up with iFroggy?
Okay, so first I'm speaking on the day stage today at 12:30. Giving a talk. Technically it's a book. In 1999, when I was trying to come up with a name for a web portal of sorts, I ran through a long list of names looking for something that was fun, that was memorable, easy to spell. I landed on iFroggy, and it's a good thing I did because there were some really awful names on that list.
Okay, so what is your main website, and do you run a BBS yourself?
Right, so I'm managing online communities is something I'm definitely passionate about. I run 5 communities myself, the largest of which is karateforums.com, which is a martial arts discussion community. I also run phpbbhacks.com, which is dedicated to the PHPBB BBS software. It's the largest unofficial resource. And I run some other communities like photoshopforums.com, yanksblog.com, a New York Yankees fan blog, badboyblog.com, a fan blog for the Bad Boy Entertainment record label, and many others.
How long have you been doing BBS stuff?
I've been managing online forums for about 9 years now, just about 9 years.
All right, great. And what did you start out with originally? Have you done PHP BBS the whole time?
I've used it since 2001, but the very first thing I actually ran was, I don't know if you remember, back in the day, everyone.net had this free solution where you could just plug in your domain name and they would give you a hosted forum, a hosted search engine, hosted email, and hosted chat. And when I was doing the web portal thing, I liked that idea. Now I would say don't use a remote host because you can't get your data out for most of them. But back then that's what I started with, and it was very, very premature. You could say it's come a long way. But after that, I switched over to PHP, so I have been using that for about 8 years.
Now, somebody just starting out, what would you recommend? What steps should they take to get a BBS up and running and get membership?
Sure, so, it's a big topic, but one thing I always like to say is that a lot of people start forums, but they don't follow through on forums because it seems like something that people throw up, they set up a few forums, and then, they forget about it. They don't realize the work that goes into it. So before you actually commit to running an online community, you have to understand that it's not just visiting a few times a week, posting and talking to people. There's a definite management aspect to it, where you're dealing with people, where you're maintaining the environment. If you have any sort of guidelines, and chances are you do, you're enforcing them to ensure that people don't hurt your community, don't take it off track, don't insult other members, and so on. So it's definitely a commitment, basically a daily commitment that you have to visit. It doesn't have to be a long time, 20, 30 minutes a day, but it's still a commitment, and you have to take that into account before you get into it so that you don't abandon it later down the line. And there's not just the personal commitment, there's also the monetary commitment. Having a domain name, having web hosting, they're not expensive things, but they're things that you should do so that you can control your site and have your data to export however you want in the future when you want to upgrade or improve. So I would say those would be the 2 things to keep in mind.
Yeah, I run a forum myself. It's it's AustinLifestyles.com for Jane Austen people. We're using something called Forum.
Forum. With a PH?
PH, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm familiar.
Is that any good?
I'm not intimately familiar with it. I know that it exists. I think the thing about forum software is, for me, people always ask, it's such a popular question, what's the best forum software? But there really isn't a best forum software. There's the forum software that works best for you. So there's a lot of good options out there, whether it be PHPBB, BBulletin, InvisionBoard, Vanilla, BBPress, and many others. And at the end of the day, if you have something that works well for you, that fulfills your needs, then it's the person behind the community that's really going to determine how successful it is in your work, cultivating the community and encouraging people to join and developing it out.
Where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina on the Outer Banks near Kitty Hawk.
So are you a Tar Heels fan?
Well, I've only lived there for about 2.5 years, so someone asked me that also, do you Duke or UNC, what's your allegiance? And I said I don't really have an allegiance, so no, I don't really follow college sports, to be fair.
Yeah. How much time do you spend on your BBS work every week?
Well, running my network is a full-time plus job, that's what I like to say, because when you're a small business person, when you run your own business and you work out of your home especially, you sort of feel like your free time, you should be investing it into your business. So I don't really keep track, but I could say, I spend hours a day doing something related to my communities, because it is something that I'm dedicated to. It's my full-time job, like I said, and it's something I'm passionate about. So it's definitely every single day, hours a day type of commitment.
Give us the executive summary of your talk today for people that can't make it to your talk today.
Okay, so I do hope that you stream it, and it'll be online at some point at managingcommunities.com. But basically, it's the art of responding to feedback, and I have 3 simple steps that I use in my own practice to respond to feedback. And that step 1 is appreciation of the feedback, then you have acknowledgement of the feedback, understanding it, and then you have consideration. Considering whether or not you want to do it and responding to the member. So I'm going to run through those 3 steps, and there'll be a surprise I'm planning as well. But that's the basis of it, how to respond to feedback. And again, there'll be video online at some point.
All right, great. And do you have any hobbies or other interests other than BBS?
Absolutely. Well, I'm interested in the stock market since I was 10 years old, so I was definitely interested in investing. Everybody is getting hit pretty hard right now, unfortunately, but I think if you're long-term in good companies, it'll come back. I'm also a big sports fan, New York Yankees, Miami Dolphins. I'm really big into music, Bad Boy Entertainment, music from Diddy. I'm a big fan of him. And yeah, those are sort of my biggest interests, I would say.
Now, if people want to find you, where do they go on the web?
Well, the iFroggy Network homepage is ifroggy.com. My personal blog is patrickokeefe.com. I also blog at managingcommunities.com. The book site is managingonlineforums.com. And you can find me on Twitter at ifroggy, IFROGGY.
Great. What do you think of social networks in relation to forum software and BBSs?
Right, so this is something I get asked.
Is there any kind of intersection there?
Yeah, people are like, well, I'm on MySpace, I'm on Facebook. Forums are, old hat, who's on forums? But the truth is, and there was a Forrester research survey that just recently confirmed this, forums are as popular as social networking sites. And like you said, there's really a great intersection between them. If you look at MySpace, if you look at Facebook, you'll see forum or BBS functionality built in, because at its core, we're talking about text-based communication. MySpace has their own forums. Facebook has, forum-like functionality. So I think it's a natural, evolvement of the forums, of these features. But at the same time, I see forums maintaining their value, because there's some people who just don't like the MySpace approach or Facebook, where there's an assault of information. They want to have a focused forum on a specific subject. So I think that'll continue to be the case in the future.
What do you think of Drupal as a forum platform?
So I don't have a lot of experience with Drupal. I know people do use it as forum software, and I know a lot of people love Drupal. So again, if it's working for them, if it's a good solution for them, then I say, more power to you. I haven't had time to investigate it because I don't have time to install, all the software, but I've heard good things.
Great. Well, it's been great chatting with you today. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck on your talk this afternoon.
Thank you. My pleasure, and thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.